Welcome to Impact the World. I'm Dennis Haysbert. This show profiles how Big Ten universities are creating change through research and innovation, benefiting not only those in the United States, but worldwide. One common characteristic of all Big Ten alumni is their loyalty and dedication to their universities. And I'm not just referring to attendance at sporting events. In our next story, we'll see the special bond between a former Hawkeye, his family, and the University of Iowa. 15 years ago, Tracy VanHoutan was a college student eyeing a finance degree and a successful career.
I went to University of Iowa in Iowa City. It was just a great place to go and have new experiences and be able to spread your wings a little bit.
In 1996, he would meet his future wife, Jennifer. They married and moved to the western suburbs of Chicago. Their first child, Noah VanHoutan, was born in 2004.
Seeing his little face and his little toes and just that little being was miraculous. There's no other way to describe it.
2 years later, in 2006, the VanHoutan family expanded again, this time with the arrival of twin girls, Emily and Lane.
We felt so lucky and had all these plans for this family. You know, we had twin girls with an older brother to look after them.
The following year, Jennifer and Tracy noticed that Noah exhibited a speech delay and began experiencing tremors.
We asked the pediatrician, and she asked him then to draw a circle, and he couldn't quite draw a circle anymore.
This simple test launched the family into a 3-year odyssey of neurologist visits, tests, and misdiagnosis.
They had told us several things like, well, your son he'll likely grow out of this.
He has sleep apnea.
We switched neurologists.
Went to the hospital again.
He started to fall down more.
They prescribed an anticonvulsant.
They did several tests on him, all of which were inconclusive, and sent us home.
In March 2009, Tracy and Jennifer received a phone call.
Our doctor called and asked me to get a pen and paper. And so I went into our bedroom and he told me all these long words, neuronal ceroid lipofuscinosis. And then he kept saying late infantile and it's this version. And it was just very confusing to me at first. And I was writing all the words down and Tracy came into the room and went and Googled it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't good.
Noah was diagnosed with late infantile Batten disease, an extremely rare brain disease that affects less than 1,000 people worldwide, and whose sufferers have an average life expectancy of just 12 years. There is no cure.
We were made very aware of the fact that it is an autosomal recessive disease, and that means that both Jen and I were unknowingly carriers of this Batten disease gene. And each child that we have would have a 25% chance of being affected by the disease.
Noah's twin sisters needed to be tested.
They're both on track. They're 3.5. Noah was 2.5 when he started having these challenges.
Mm-hmm. So we were 95% sure that
they're both okay.
Yeah.
Emily and Lane had appeared to be fine, but their doctor had more bad news.
She called me on a Monday. It was Monday, August 17th. And she said, Lane has Batten disease.
Absolutely. Brings you to your knees again.
Yeah.
And it was harder to get up. You know, there's floods of thoughts about, you know, how are we as a family, you know, I mean, 40% of our families not going to be around in a few years, and that just wasn't in the plans.
While researching Batten disease, the VanHoutans found that the most advanced research was taking place at Tracy's alma mater, the University of Iowa.
What keeps us motivated, I think, is the fact that there's a real human being out there that is in need of a cure. And maybe we're being a little bold to think that we're going to be the ones to come up with it, but why not?
Dr. Beverly Davidson works at the Eckstein Medical Research Building on the west side of the Iowa campus. Her team researches genetic diseases that cause central nervous system dysfunction, including Batten disease. The disease is caused by the lack of an enzyme in the brain.
Every cell in the brain needs this enzyme to get rid of the waste in the cell. This is a brain scan of a normal child on the left and a child with late infantile Batten disease on the right. And this is really the problem that we're facing. There's a lot of cell loss, there's seizure activity, there is a loss of cognitive abilities, so these children start out with normal intelligence, normal potential, and then it's just slowly turning course. We've been developing gene transfer vectors, and the initial results are very, very encouraging, and it gave us hope to move this forward in testing in animal models. These are diseased dogs that were treated as young puppies, and I think what's very exciting to us is that these brains now look way more normal than disease, so it looks like the therapy is actually working.
Seeing the research being done in Iowa City, Tracy and Jennifer VanHoutan looked to make a visit back to Tracy's alma mater.
Tracy VanHoutan called me up out of the blue and visited the laboratory with his young son and twin daughters.
We really felt that Dr. Davidson's work was extremely promising. It did give us fuel to keep fighting.
There's Tinkerbell.
Each night, Tracy and Jennifer give treatments to Noah and Lane, hoping to minimize the effects of Batten disease, all the while maintaining faith that the research at Iowa will soon lead to a cure.
Love you.
What motivates us is how much support we've received from the University of Iowa. In talking to Dr. Davidson, there is hope that when it does work, it's not only going to help our disease, but many other diseases. It holds a lot of promise. You could call it our legacy for Noah and Lane.